The night began like any other night on Earth. People were busy with their lives, watching TV, scrolling on their phones, or sleeping. No one knew that something was coming from the far edge of space. No one knew that humanity's future was about to change forever. High above the planet, in a small research station, Dr. Elena Ward sat in front of her computer. She was a quiet woman, known for her calm mind and sharp skills. She studied deep space signals for many years, but tonight she noticed something different. A strange pulse appeared on her screen. It did not look like any natural signal. It repeated in perfect rhythm, like a heartbeat. She leaned closer and whispered, "This is not normal." The signal was powerful. Too powerful. It spread across Earth in less than 1 second. Satellites caught fire. Communication towers shut down. The sky flickered with strange colors. Birds flew in all directions as if they were scared of something invisible. Oceans began to glow faintly, like they were reacting to the pulse. Elena felt her own skin tingle. Something inside the signal was touching life on Earth. Not physically, but deeper, at the genetic level. In the next hour, hospitals around the world reported unusual cases. Some people complained about intense headaches. Others said their vision became sharper. A few could even hear sounds from far away, like footsteps or whispers behind walls. At first, doctors thought it was a coincidence, a mass panic event. But soon, the truth became impossible to ignore. A teenage boy in Brazil lifted a car off the ground to save his sister, trapped underneath. A woman in India could see in complete darkness. A man in Germany broke a steel door with his bare hands. These were not normal humans anymore. News channels exploded with fear. Governments tried to calm the public, but they also secretly began collecting information. Small groups of changed humans were appearing everywhere. They were stronger, faster, and more aware than normal people. Some had glowing eyes. Others could heal quickly from wounds. Dr. Elena gathered all the data and ran her own tests. The results shocked her more than anything in her entire career. The space signal was rewriting human DNA. Someone out there was changing humanity on purpose. She shared her findings with a small team. They were frightened because if a signal could change humans so easily, then the sender must have incredible power. While humans tried to understand what was happening, new problems started. Some of the changed humans became aggressive. Their minds were overwhelmed by the sudden evolution. They attacked others by accident, not understanding their own strength. People began calling them the awakened. Fear spread everywhere. The military set up checkpoints, scanning people for unusual signs. Anyone who looked suspicious was taken away for testing. The government said these actions were for safety, but the public started to panic. In the middle of this chaos, Elena noticed something even more frightening. The awakened were not changing randomly. Their abilities matched the patterns hidden inside the signal. Someone had designed these transformations with purpose. Someone had studied human biology. Someone had planned this evolution. But the biggest shock came 3 days later. Security cameras captured strange shadows moving in cities at night. Tall figures with long limbs and glowing armor. They were not human. They were watching the awakened, following them silently. Aliens were already on Earth. Elena watched the footage with her heart racing. These creatures were not attacking. They were hunting, but not for humans. They were hunting the awakened. At that moment, she understood the terrible truth. The signal was not an attack. It was a warning. Or worse, it was preparation. Humanity was no longer alone. And something in the dark had already begun the next stage of the plan. The world changed fast after the strange signal, but no one expected what came next. As fear grew everywhere, a new group began to rise from the shadows. They were stronger than normal humans, faster than soldiers, and sharper than any scientist. People called them the awakened, but no one knew yet what they truly were becoming. In a secret government facility beneath the Nevada desert, a young man named Kale sat inside a glass chamber. He looked normal, quiet, calm, serious, but he was not like other humans anymore. His eyes glowed faint blue in the dark. His heartbeat was slow but powerful. Sensors around him detected energy flowing through his muscles that no human should have. A group of military officers watched him through reinforced screens. One of them whispered, "He could break through the entire room if he wants." The scientist beside him replied nervously, "He does not want to. That is why he is dangerous." The government had captured many awakened like Kale. Some accepted tests. Others fought. None of them understood what was happening to their own bodies. Their minds were changing too, becoming more focused, more alert, but also more distant from normal emotions. Dr. Elena Ward, who discovered the signal, arrived at the facility that morning. She demanded to speak with the awakened directly. "If we treat them like prisoners," she said, "we will never understand what they are becoming." Kale looked up when she entered the chamber. For the first time in days, his expression changed. He sensed something different about her: fear, curiosity, hope all mixed together. "You heard the signal," Elena said softly through the speaker. "Did it speak to you?" Kale's voice was quiet but steady. "Not speak. Pull." Like it was waking something inside me that was already there. Elena felt a chill run down her spine. "Do you know who sent it?" Kale shook his head slowly. "But they are coming." Before Elena could ask more questions, alarms suddenly blasted throughout the facility. Soldiers ran past her with weapons ready. The lights flickered and the screens turned white for a second. Something had entered the building. Security cameras showed tall, dark figures moving like living shadows. Their bodies were covered in sleek metallic armor. Their eyes glowed like burning coals. They moved silently through walls using strange technology that bent the air around them. One soldier shouted over the radio, "These things are not attacking us. They're searching for something." Elena froze. She knew what they were searching for: the awakened. The creatures moved toward Kale's chamber. The glass shook as one of them placed a hand on it. The alien tilted its head, studying Kale like a scientist studying a rare animal. Its fingers clicked against the surface, reading the energy inside him. Kale stood up slowly. His eyes glowed brighter than ever. "They came for me," he whispered. The alien pressed a device onto the chamber wall. The glass began to melt like ice under fire. Kale looked at Elena. "If you want to save your world," he said, "you must let me out." Elena hesitated. If she freed him, he might escape, or worse. But if she didn't, the aliens would take him. She entered the override code. The chamber door opened. Kale stepped out, his body glowing faintly with energy. The alien lunged forward, but Kale moved faster than anyone had ever seen. He grabbed the creature by the throat and slammed it into the ground. The floor cracked under the impact. Sparks shot from the alien's armor. Elena stepped back in shock. Kale wasn't just strong. He was evolving with every second. More creatures appeared. Kale stood between them and the humans like a shield. "They aren't here to help us," he said in a low voice. "They want to take the awakened and erase the rest of humanity." The aliens charged. Kale's eyes turned blinding blue. For the first time, Earth saw what one awakened human could really do, and it terrified everyone. Kale's attack on the alien hunters shook the entire facility. No one expected a human, awakened or not, to overwhelm something so advanced. But Kale wasn't celebrating. He stood over the fallen creature, breathing heavily, his eyes dimming back to a calm blue. "Elena," he said quietly, "this was only a scout. The real ones will come soon." Before she could respond, the alien's armor released a pulse of light. The dead creature projected a hologram into the air, a tall figure with 4 glowing eyes and a mask shaped like a blade. Its voice vibrated like metal grinding against stone. "Humans, your evolution is unauthorized. The Raythek Empire will correct this corruption." Soldiers stared in fear as the hologram continued. "The awakened are property of the Raythek. They belong to us." The projection vanished, leaving a cold silence. Elena spoke first. "They think humans are their experiment?" Kale shook his head. "No, not theirs. They want to control what we are becoming." Before further questions could be asked, the ground trembled. Dust fell from the ceiling. Lights cracked and flickered. Something massive had landed on the surface above them. Alarms screamed across the facility. Elena and Kale ran toward the command center, soldiers following with trembling hands. On the main screen, satellite feeds showed a giant shadow hovering above the desert, the size of a city. It wasn't a ship built for transport. It was a ship built for war. The Raythek had arrived. The hunt begins. Raythek drop pods shot from the mothership like burning meteors. They pierced through the sand and rock with explosive force. From each pod stepped armored hunters, taller, stronger, and far more advanced than the scouts. They weren't just hunting awakened. They were collecting them. One drop pod crashed near a small town. A family watched in horror as a glowing sphere scanned their home. It ignored the parents and focused only on the teenage daughter, whose eyes faintly glowed violet. She screamed as the hunters grabbed her and vanished into another pod. This scene repeated across the world. Awakened humans were disappearing. Kale's decision. Inside the facility, soldiers prepared to defend the lower floors. Elena studied the screens, her hands shaking. "They're everywhere," she whispered. "How do we stop an army like this?" Kale closed his eyes. "We don't stop them. Not yet. First, we survive." Elena stared at him. "There are more awakened out there who need help." Kale nodded. "Yes, and they are unprepared for this." Suddenly, the lights turned red. A voice echoed across the speakers. "Raythek breach on level 3. All units engage." Kale moved before anyone else. "Stay behind me," he told Elena. Level 3 erupted in chaos. Hunters broke through walls using energy blades that hummed like electric storms. Soldiers fired bullets, but the alien armor absorbed every shot. The Raythek advanced without fear. Then Kale stepped forward. One hunter lunged at him, blade raised. Kale grabbed the blade with his bare hand. Instead of cutting him, the blade cracked. Energy surged through Kale's arm, glowing like burning blue veins. He punched the hunter once. The shockwave shattered nearby walls. Even the soldiers stumbled back in awe. "Elena," Kale yelled, "get to the control room. I'll hold them off." She hesitated. "You can't fight them all." "I don't need to," he said. "I just need to slow them down." The terrifying revelation. Elena reached the control room and locked the doors. She pulled up energy readings from the alien ship. Her eyes widened. Impossible. The Raythek were not just hunting the awakened. They were tracking the DNA signal inside them. The same signal that rewrote human DNA. It wasn't just a transformation. It was a key to something the Raythek desperately wanted. Her hands trembled as she spoke into the radio. "Kale, they're not here to destroy Earth. They want the awakened for a reason." Kale fought two hunters at once, barely holding them back. "What reason?" Elena swallowed as she read the final line of alien code. "They need the awakened to activate a weapon, galaxy-level weapon." And at that exact moment, the Raythek mothership began to open its lower hatch, revealing something ancient, enormous, and deadly inside. Humanity wasn't facing an invasion. It was standing at the edge of extinction. The Raythek mothership continued to open, revealing a giant mechanical structure buried inside its core. It looked like a colossal sphere wrapped in chains of glowing energy. The lights pulsed slowly, like a sleeping heart waiting to wake. Elena stared at the screen, unable to breathe. "This is not a weapon built for war," she whispered. "This is a weapon built to end worlds." The words spread through the command room like ice. Down in the lower levels, Kale fought with everything he had. His movements had become faster, sharper, almost too fast for the human eye. He no longer looked like a normal man. Light flowed through the cracks in his skin like living electricity. Every punch created shockwaves. Every step shook the ground. But the Raythek hunters kept coming. For every hunter he destroyed, two more arrived. "Fall back," a soldier screamed. "There's too many of them." Kale didn't move. "If I fall back, they reach Elena. They reach the world." Elena's discovery. Inside the control room, Elena worked fast. She opened the alien data she had decoded earlier and pushed deeper into the encrypted layers. The symbols rearranged themselves into patterns she had never seen. It was impossible for any normal human to understand. But Elena wasn't a normal human anymore. The signal had touched her too, just more slowly. Her mind processed the alien patterns at lightning speed. She understood something horrifying. "The weapon is powered by awakened DNA," she muttered. The Raythek need thousands of awakened humans to activate it fully. That's why they are capturing them. A soldier nearby gasped. Activate it for what? Elena looked up, her face pale. To rewrite all life on Earth. The room fell silent. No one knew what to say, but Elena wasn't done. She found something else, another layer of code, older than the Raythek code. Almost hidden. A message. A signature. Written by a different species. Her voice shook as she read it. This is from the Prime Makers. People stared at her, confused. The ones who created humans, Elena said. The ones the Raythek are afraid of. The officer beside her whispered. So humans were never meant to stay the way they are? Elena nodded. The awakened are the true version of humanity. The Raythek want to stop that evolution before it threatens the galaxy. Kale's breaking point. On level 3, Kale reached his limit. His body glowed brighter and brighter until it felt like his skin was burning. He erupted with a burst of energy, throwing back a dozen hunters. The walls cracked. The lights burst. But Kale fell to one knee, breathing heavily. His vision blurred. His heart pounded dangerously. I'm changing too fast, he whispered. One hunter approached slowly, its blade dripping with blue energy. Kale tried to stand, but his legs trembled. Just as the blade came down, gunfire echoed through the hall. Soldiers stormed in, surrounding Kale and shielding him with their bodies. Get him out, the captain yelled. Move, move. They dragged Kale toward the elevator, but the ground shook violently before they could escape. The entire facility groaned like a dying beast. Dust rained down, metal bent. Then came a thunderous roar from above. The Raythek mothership had begun powering up its world-ending device. A human response. In the command room, Elena slammed her hand on the emergency control panel. We have to fight back. Not run, not hide, fight. Fight how? An officer demanded. We can't even damage their armor. Elena pointed to the hologram of Earth. Humans don't need alien weapons. We have something stronger. What? She looked at the screens showing Kale and the other awakened around the world being hunted. Our evolution. A soldier frowned. They're untrained, confused, scared. They're changing because the Prime Makers designed them to change, Elena said firmly. We must unite humans and awakened. Side by side. That is the only way to survive this. The ground shook again. The Raythek device pulsed like a beating heart. Time was running out. Elena grabbed the radio. Kale, she said, if you can't hear me, Earth needs you. The awakened need you. You must become their leader. Kale, barely conscious, opened his eyes. Elena, he whispered. I won't let humanity die, she said. But I can't save it alone. Kale felt something awaken deep inside him. Stronger than fear, stronger than pain. Hope. He stood up slowly, fire glowing in his eyes. Then let's begin, he said. Because this wasn't just a battle. This was humanity's evolution. And the galaxy was about to witness the rise of something new. The ground shook again as the Raythek mothership powered its massive device. The glowing chains wrapped around the sphere tightened, pulling energy from the atmosphere. Lightning crawled across the sky above the desert. The entire world could feel the coming danger, even if they didn't understand it. Inside the damaged facility, Elena raced down the hallway with two soldiers supporting the weakened Kale. His skin glowed faintly, pulsing with unstable energy. Elena, Kale whispered, my body is changing too fast. I know, she said firmly, but you must stay awake. We're running out of time. They reached a medical room filled with glowing machines. Elena activated a scanner and placed it over Kale's chest. The results flashed instantly. The readings were impossible. Kale's DNA was rearranging itself again, forming patterns too advanced for any species Elena had studied before. It's like, she said quietly, your body is following instructions that were hidden inside human DNA. Kale looked confused. Instructions? From who? Elena inhaled deeply. Not from humans. From the Prime Makers. Kale frowned. Who are they? The first architects of life, Elena whispered. Older than the Raythek. Older than every species we know. Kale's breathing slowed as he listened. Humans weren't created naturally, Elena continued. We were designed. The prime makers built humans to evolve under extreme pressure, to adapt when other species could not. Kale clenched his fists. And the Wraithek fear what humans can become. Elena nodded. Because humans can surpass them. We have the potential to evolve beyond anything in the galaxy. The Lost Archive. Elena pulled up another layer of alien code on the screen. It glowed with a golden pattern different from the Wraithek symbols. Look at this, she said. It's a message, hidden deep in the DNA signal. Kale leaned forward, struggling to keep his eyes open. Elena read the text aloud. When the final signal awakens your true form, seek the source beneath the ice. Kale's eyes narrowed. Beneath the ice? Where? Elena zoomed out the hologram. A small mark pulsed on the map of Earth. Antarctica, deep under the frozen continent. Something ancient was waiting. A weapon? A vault? A beacon? No one knew, but it was left by the prime makers. And it was meant for humans. The Wraithek's plan revealed. Suddenly, the facility lights flickered again, and a loud hum echoed through the walls. A soldier burst into the room. Dr. Ward, the Wraithek weapon. It's charging even faster. Elena and Kale rushed to the nearest screen. The giant sphere inside the mothership glowed brighter, releasing waves of energy across the sky. The soldier pointed shakily. We translated more of their broadcast. They don't want to destroy Earth, not completely. Elena frowned. Then what do they want? The soldier swallowed hard. They want to reset Earth. Wipe out every normal human. Keep only the awakened. Kale's eyes widened. To use us as fuel. Yes, the soldier said. The energy inside awakened DNA can power their weapon. It can create new worlds or erase galaxies. A deadly silence followed. Kale looked at Elena. They want to turn us into batteries. Elena clenched her jaw. No, they want to strip the prime maker's design from humanity. To rewrite us into something they can control. Awaken rising. Suddenly, Kale's head snapped upward. He felt something, a wave of emotion, fear, anger, coming from far away. Elena, he whispered. The awakened across the world, they're calling for help. Elena looked at him with wide eyes. How do you hear them? Kale's voice trembled. Because I'm becoming something more than awakened. Something the prime makers intended. He stepped forward, the glow in his eyes intensifying. Elena, we must gather all awakened. Not just to save them, but to unite them. Unite them for what? She asked. Kale looked toward the glowing alien ship above the desert. For war. The room vibrated again as the Wraithek device roared like thunder. Humans had no choice now. The fight for Earth had already begun, and the next evolution of humanity was waking up. The Wraithek mothership hovered over the desert like a dark sun, swallowing the sky with its enormous shadow. Its world-ending device glowed brighter with every passing minute. Lightning spiraled around it, pulling energy from the atmosphere, from the oceans, from the planet itself. Earth was dying slowly, and humanity had only one chance left. In an underground hangar of the destroyed facility, Kale stood surrounded by soldiers and awakened who had escaped the alien hunters. Some were young, teenagers, shaking with fear. Others were older, stronger, their eyes glowing with different colors, blue, green, violet, gold. Every awakened was unique. Kale looked at all of them, feeling their fear, their confusion, and their hope. We are not weapons, he said. We are not the Wraithek's fuel. We are humans, the next form of humans. And tonight, we fight for our world. A young awakened girl with glowing green eyes whispered. But how can we fight them? Their armor is too strong. They have machines, ships. Kale placed a hand on her shoulder. We have something they don't. She swallowed. What? Kale's eyes flared with bright blue fire. Evolution. The Wraithek attack begins. Outside, Wraithek war machines descended like falling giants. They stood 4 stories tall, with arms shaped like cannons and legs that slammed into the earth like thunder. Each machine unleashed energy blasts that turned sand into glass. Cities worldwide reported the same attacks. Tokyo, Berlin, Karachi, New York, São Paulo. It was a global invasion. Elena coordinated from a control room, now functioning with emergency power. She sent a message to every remaining human city. All forces unite. Defend the awakened. Protect the civilians. Hold your ground. Human fighter jets soared into the sky. Tanks rolled to the front line. Naval fleets powered their weapons. It didn't matter if humanity was outmatched. They refused to die quietly. Humans fought like hell. That was their nature. Kale awakens fully. As the battle raged, Kale stood in the center of the hangar, inhaled deeply, and let the Prime Maker's code flow through him. His body glowed brighter, until it looked as if a star lived inside him. The awakened watched in awe. "What are you becoming?" one whispered. Kale opened his eyes. "I'm becoming what I was meant to be." He raised both hands. A shockwave of blue light exploded outward. Not destructive, awakening. Each awakened felt something unlock inside them. Their powers sharpened. Their senses expanded. Their bodies strengthened. It was like a sleeping army opening its eyes at the same moment. Elena gasped as she monitored the readings. "Kale, you connected them. You linked the awakened like one mind." Kale nodded. "Now we move as one. Humanity strikes back." The hangar doors exploded open. Kale launched into the sky, not jumping, but flying, carried by the force inside him. Dozens of awakened followed, rising into the air like shining comets. Below, the human soldiers stared upward in disbelief. "Looks like we got backup," one whispered. Kale led the awakened straight toward the Wraithek war machines. Energy beams fired at them, but they dodged with inhuman speed. Kale slammed into the first machine, his glowing fist cracking its armor. The machine toppled like a collapsing tower. Other awakened targeted weak points instinctively, because Kale was guiding them through the connection. The battlefield became a storm of human evolution. Lightning-fast movements, glowing eyes, unstoppable strength. For the first time, the Wraithek retreated a step. They had underestimated humans. Again, the weapon wakes. But the victory didn't last long. Elena's screen flashed red. The sphere inside the Wraithek mothership began to spin. Chains of pure energy wrapped around it, pulling it tighter, compressing unimaginable power into a single point. The device wasn't powering up. It was activating. Elena whispered in horror, "It's starting. Earth will be erased in minutes." On the battlefield, Kale felt the energy gathering in the sky. He looked up. A beam of white light shot downward. He yelled through the mind link, "Awakened. Get to the ship. Now." Elena grabbed the radio and screamed, "Kale, if you don't stop that device, everyone dies." Kale soared upward, pushing his power to the limit. His entire body burned with blue light. He aimed straight for the Wraithek mothership. For Earth. For humanity. For the future the Prime Makers intended. The final battle had begun. Kale shot upward like a streak of blue lightning, his body cracking with energy as he forced himself higher and higher. The Wraithek mothership filled the sky above him, massive, ancient, and glowing with deadly power. The world-ending device at its center pulsed like the heart of a dying star. Elena's voice trembled through his earpiece. "Kale, you have only minutes before the beam fires. If it does, Earth is gone." Kale didn't answer. He didn't need to. His eyes burned with the resolve of someone who had accepted the weight of an entire world. Behind him, hundreds of awakened rose into the sky, following Kale like a swarm of shining spirits. Their bodies glowed with different colors: blue, green, violet, gold. Each light a mark of the future humanity was meant to become. This was not an army born by accident. This was an army awakened by destiny. Inside the mothership, Kale crashed through the hull of the mothership like a meteor. Sparks exploded around him as alien metal tore apart. The corridor was filled with Wraithek warriors, tall, armored, and deadly. They didn't speak. They attacked. Energy blades slashed at Kale, but his body moved with impossible speed. His fists crashed like thunder. His eyes glowed brighter with each strike. The more the Wraithek fought him, the stronger he became. Behind him, the awakened entered through other openings spreading across the ship. Their screams and energy blasts echoed through the halls, shaking the metal foundations. The Wraithek found themselves overwhelmed, not by numbers, but by something they had never encountered. Humans evolving during battle. Elena's revelation. Back on Earth, Elena worked in the control room, her mind racing through alien code and human biology. She finally saw the pattern, something so terrifying it made her blood run cold. "Kale," she whispered into the radio. "The device is not just a weapon. It is a reset engine. It will rewrite Earth's atmosphere, oceans, and DNA. Everything will become Wraithek-controlled." Kale paused mid-flight inside the ship. "So, they want to wipe us out?" "No," Elena said, voice trembling. "They want to turn Earth into a Wraithek world and turn Awakened into slaves to power it." Kale tightened his fists. "Not happening." The core chamber. Kale finally reached the main chamber. The world-ending device floated in the center, an enormous sphere of swirling white energy held in place by chains of living light. The Wraithek command leader stood before it, tall and monstrous, for glowing eyes staring like burning stars. "Human," the leader said, "your species was never meant to evolve. You are a mistake of the Prime Makers." Kale stepped forward, the floor cracking under his energy. "No, humans are their greatest creation." The leader raised its staff. "Then you will die as their last failure." The giant unleashed a beam of red energy. Kale didn't dodge. He held his hands forward and caught it. The beam pushed him back, tearing the floor, shaking the chamber. Electricity ripped through his body. His skin cracked with light. But he didn't fall. Instead, he pushed back. A roar echoed from deep inside him, a roar heard by every Awakened on the ship, every fighter on Earth. The beam shattered. Kale launched forward. He slammed into the Wraithek leader with a force that broke the chamber walls. The alien collapsed, its armor cracked, its eyes dimming. Kale stood over it. "Humans don't die easily," he whispered. "That's our strength." The final sacrifice. The device began to overload. Its chains snapped one by one. Elena's voice returned in panic. "Kale, it's going to explode. If it does, the blast will tear the planet apart." Kale looked at the swirling sphere. Then he understood. He couldn't destroy it. He had to contain it. "Elena," he said softly, "tell them humans don't run." He walked toward the glowing sphere, energy toward his skin. His body shook violently, but he forced his hands onto the surface of the device. It screamed with power, brighter and brighter, until Kale's entire body became a silhouette of blinding blue fire. Every Awakened felt his energy through the connection. Every human on Earth saw the light in the sky. Kale absorbed the device's power into himself. His body stretched, cracked, and exploded into a wave of light. The mothership was torn apart in a single burst. The sky went quiet. The device was gone. Kale was gone. Earth lived. The new dawn. Hours later, Elena stood atop the desert ruins. The morning sun slowly rose, painting the sky gold. Survivors gathered behind her. Soldiers, civilians, and Awakened. They looked up together as new lights appeared in the sky. Awakened around the world were glowing softly, their powers stronger, more stable. Kale's final act had awakened them fully. Earth had changed forever. A soldier whispered, "Are we safe now?" Elena shook her head. "No, the Wraithek will return." The Awakened looked at the sky with new determination.